line is called the transversal. So here I'm going to label these lines. So I have line A, I have line B, and I have line T. So T is the transversal. How do I know that T is the transversal? Because it's the line that cuts into two other lines. That's always the transversal. And anytime you have two lines and a third transversal that cuts through them, you end up with an interior area and an exterior area. The interior area is the space between the two lines. So here, between lines A and B, is the interior. And then the exterior is going to be on the outside of both lines. So it's going to be to the left of line A is the exterior, meaning outside. And to the right of line B is the exterior, meaning outside. Okay, in number 2, do we all agree that the line that's more vertical is the transversal? Can somebody name me the angles that are in the interior space? The number angles that are in the interior space? Leilani? Good. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are in the interior. What about the exterior? What angles are in the exterior spaces? Jack? You got it. 1, 2, 7, and 8. Okay, so now we're going to talk about anytime you have two lines cut by a transversal, certain types of angles are formed. The first type of angle is called alternate interior angles. And we shortcut alternate interior angles by calling it AIA, alternate interior angles, AIA. So I'm going to tell you the description, and then I'm going to tell you my shortcut and how I find it. The angles must both lie in the interior of the figure and must lie on alternate sides of the transversal and must have different vertices. So write that in, and then I'll explain this to you a little bit better. Okay, so let's just dissect this word, alternate interior angles. Well, since in the name it says interior, looking at number 2 from above, do we agree 3, 4, 5, and 6 are the interior angles? All right, now to alternate. If you're alternating players when you're playing a game, what are you doing? Jonah? Like switching, exactly. So when we're talking about alternate interior angles, you're talking about interior angles that are on alternate sides or different sides of the transversal. So 3 and 6 are considered alternate interior angles because they're in the interior, but they're on alternate sides. So what else do you think? If 3 and 6 are a pair of alternate interior angles, Bella? 5 and 4 are also alternate interior angles. They're on the same side, but alternate sides. Now, I have a trick for finding alternate interior angles when the diagrams become a little bit more tricky. So I'm going to say, look for the Z. Look for the Z. Now, it could be a Z, it could be a backwards Z, it could be a Z that's been rotated, but it's still somehow a Z, whether it's been rotated or flipped or turned or whatever it is, it's still a Z. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's go back to number 2. When I say look for the Z, you have the two arms of the Z. Do you see how I made that Z right there? Now you look inside the armpits of the Z. So this is an arm, this is an arm. So your armpit goes down, right? So 3 is in the armpit and 6 is in the armpit. So if you find a Z, the angles in the armpits are the AIA angles, the alternate interior angles. So there we have 3 and 6. So an example from number 2, angle 3, comma, angle 6. That's one pair of alternate interior angles in the armpits of the Z. But now, can I also make a backwards Z? Look at the green that I'm highlighting. Here's the backwards Z. Which angles are in the armpits this time? Good, angle 4 and angle 5. So those are the AIA angles. You look for the Z. Okay, now alternate exterior angles, we're going to shortcut this by calling it AEA, alternate exterior angles. Now, the alternate exterior angles must lie in the exterior of the figure and must lie on alternate sides of the transversal and must have different vertices. I don't have a trick, so there's no like Z trick for alternate exterior angles, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If we're looking for, going back to number 2, alternate exterior angles, based on the words, the names of these angles, they're saying exterior, so are we inside the lines or outside the lines? Outside. Exterior means outside, and then alternating means we're alternating sides of the transversal. So I'm looking at angle 1, and now if I'm going to choose the alternate exterior angle with angle 1, it's going to be angle 8. So we're top, bottom, different sides of the transversal. So one pair of alternate exterior angles are angles 1 and angle 8. Can somebody tell me the other pair of alternate exterior angles? Back to number 2. Sebastian? You got it, 2 and 7. Okay. Next one, corresponding angles. So one angle must lie in the interior of the figure and the other must lie in the exterior. The angles must lie on the same side of the transversal but have different vertices. And we shortcut corresponding angles as CORR, C-O-R-R. I do have a trick for this, but first I'm going to explain to you what the corresponding angles are. So basically, corresponding angles are angles that sit in the same position just on different lines. What do I mean? So let's just name these lines so I can address them. I'm going to name this line, line A, and this line, line B, and then you have the transversal T. So do you see how angle 3 is sitting below line A, but to the left of the transversal? And angle 7 is sitting below line B, but to the left of the transversal. So they're basically sitting in the same spot, but on different lines. Does that make sense? That's corresponding, meaning they're matching up their spots. So 3 and 7 are corresponding angles. Can anybody say a different pair of corresponding angles that are sitting in the same spot, but just different lines? Oh, 4 and 8. 4 and 8, perfect. So look, they're both sitting below the lines, but now this time to the right of the transversal. What else? There's more corresponding angles. Noah? 1 and 5, excellent. 1 and 5 are both sitting to the left of the transversal, but sitting above their lines. There's another pair of corresponding angles. 2 and 6. All right, now for my trick. how do we identify corresponding angles when the diagrams are a little bit trickier? So I'm going to say, look for the F. And again, similar to the Z, the F can be rotated. It could be backwards. It could be on its back. It could be any F that's been moved in any position or flipped. So what do I mean? And again, it's coming back to the armpits. Just like the alternate interior angles, it was the angles in the armpits. These are going to be the angles in the armpits also. So if you look at here, do you see how I highlighted an F? Now what we're going to do once we highlight the F, then you're going to say, okay, well, I need the angles in the armpits of the F. The arms are the straight part and an armpit goes down, right? So if you're straight arm and you go down, push that straight arm down, that's the angle in the armpit. So do we agree that 4 is in this armpit and 8's in the other armpit? So that means 4 and 8 are corresponding angles. Let's write those down. All right, there's more. We had said them previously. So this was a normal F. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a backward F. There's my backwards F. So now which angles are in the armpits of the backwards F? So the arm is straight, and when you go push the arm down, that's the angle in the armpit that it crushes when you push it down. 3 and 7, you got it. Okay, so we did a normal F, we did a backwards F. Now what I'm going to do is an upside down F. Here's my upside down F. And again, you always envision the straight part as the arm, and then you have to push that arm inside to see the armpits. So which armpits, which angles are in the armpits this time? Not Stella, somebody else. Which angles are in the armpits? Jack. 2 and 6. Very good. The other side. Okay. So now our last one is going to be not only our upside down F, but it's going to be backwards and upside down. Which angles are in the armpits this time? 1 and 5, you got it. So those are the corresponding angles. So which angles go with the Z? Anybody remember? Which angles go with the Z? The alternate interior angles. Which angles go with the F? Corresponding. So we have the Z for alternate interior. We have the F for corresponding. All right. And the last one, same side interior. We're going to shortcut this as SSI. All right. Both angles must lie in the interior of the figure and must lie on the same side of the transversal. And I do have a shortcut. I'm going to say look for the very boxy C. Okay. So back to our diagram. So first, let's think about it. Interior, same side. So just by the name interior, same side, I think we could figure out the angles. So we want the interior. Do we agree that brings us down to 3, 4, 5, 6? But then we want them on the same side of the transversal. So that would make 3 and 5 a pair because they're interior, same side. And then what else would be a different pair? 4 and 6. And now I said look for that very boxy C. And I'll show you what I mean. Again, it's all about the armpits. Do you guys see how I made that C? That very boxy C? Which angles are in the armpits of this boxy C? 4 and 6. So that's one pair of interior same side, ISS, or SSI, same side interior. So we're going to have angles, what did I say? 4 and 6. All right, and then same thing. We could do a backwards C. We can do an upside down C. We could do any C that we can find. Here is a backward C. And which angles are in the armpits this time? 3 and 5. All right. So now we're going to try to recognize the different types of angles. So for each diagram, identify the transversal, label it as T. Identify the two lines, label them as A and B, and then state what kinds of angles that we have. So the transversal is always the line that cuts or touches the two other lines. So which one I'm going to highlight is the transversal? So blue, yellow, or green, which one's the transversal? Green is the transversal because it cuts the other two lines. So once we identify the transversal, then we name the other lines A and B. It doesn't matter which one's A, which one's B. Now we have to identify what kinds of angle we have. The way you're going to identify the kinds of angle you have, what you're going to do is take a color and you're going to a different color and you're going to trace the two angles. So I'm going to trace angle 1. And then I'm going to trace angle 2. And then after I trace the two angles, I have to try to connect them through a common line. Well, can I just connect them here on the bottom? So after I connect them, I'm going to try to see, did I make any letter? Did I make a Z or did I make an F? Did I make a C? Did I make anything? And now it could be rotated or flipped or something. Does anybody see any letter that I just made here? It does look like a C. So now we have to think, okay, well, we just made a C and we double check our angles 1 and 2 in the armpits of that C. Yes. So now which type of angle goes with the C? Is it AIA, AEA, core, or SSI? Stella. It is SSI. So then we write in the open space, SSI, same side interior. Okay, so same thing for number 2. So we have to decide which one's the transversal. We have blue, yellow, pink. So you all tell me, which one's the transversal to this time, blue, yellow, or pink? It is the pink. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to label the pink as T, and the other lines are A and B. All right, now what we do, we have to identify the type of line we have. So we're going to trace, once again, we're going to trace the two angles separately. And then after we trace the two angles, what do we then have to do? Try to connect them through a common line. So after I trace the two angles and I try to connect them through a common line, I'm going to ask myself, does it make any letter? Jack? Yeah, it makes an F. Then we have to ask ourselves, okay, are these angles in the armpits of the F? Yes. Which name goes with the F? Jack? Corresponding, you got it. Do you guys want to try number 3 on your own? All right, try number 3. Oh, okay. So this one was a little bit trickier with identifying the transversal because there could actually be 2 transversals. Do you guys see this blue line? This is a transversal, but there is another transversal. Do you guys see this green line? Isn't this also a transversal? You always want to choose the transversal that's closest to both angles. So which transversal is closest to both angles, the blue or the green? The green. So that's the transversal we're identifying. So I'm going to call this T. Or actually, so it's not confused, I'll put the T down here. Here's the T. And then this is line A, and this is line B. And then what you want to do is you want to trace the 2 angles. So I traced angle 3, I traced angle 4, and then I connected them. And when we traced the 2 angles, what letter did we make? A Z. So we ask ourselves, which kind of angle goes with the Z? Is it AIA, AEA, core, SSI? AIA, you got it. Okay, so now once again, we're choosing the transversal that's closest to the 2 angles. So which transversal is closest to the 2 angles, the blue or the green? Noah? The blue is closest to the 2 angles. So this is going to be the transversal, that one. I'm going to ignore the green. And then so this is going to be line A and this is going to be line B. And then what do? We have to highlight or trace the 2 angles. There's angle 1, there's angle 2, and then we connect them. Anybody know what letter this is? It is an F. And what kind of angle goes with the F? Corresponding, you got it. Are we getting the gist here? A little bit? It's different, I know. Okay. So I'm going to start off by tracing the 2 angles. And then I'm going to connect them. Did I make any letter here? No, we didn't make any letter. So there was one kind of angle that didn't make any letter. What kind of angle didn't make any letter? Jack? AEA. So we now have to make sure that it's AEA. Well, do we agree that this middle line would have to be the transversal since it's cutting into both? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the 2 lines that it's cutting into. So I'm going to extend this line, and you're allowed to extend, and I'm going to extend this line. So the blue is our transversal. The other lines are A and B. So now we have to check, is this AEA? Is this alternate exterior angles? Well, first question, are they on the exterior of the 2 main lines? On the outside? This is a line, this is a line. I think they're on the outside of those. If we're ignoring everything else, right? They're on the outside. Are they on alternating sides of the transversal? Yeah, so this is absolutely AEA, alternate exterior angles. Yes. Bathroom? Yeah. So you guys do number 6. Tell me what you get. Can you get water? Yeah. All right, who has an answer for me here? What kinds of angles are 7 and 8? No? Nobody? So I would have traced them. There's 7, traced 8, and then connected them. What kind of letter is that? A Z. What letter goes with the Z? What name goes with the Z? AIA. All right, you guys do 7 and 8, and as soon as you're done, flip your computer over so I can check. Perfect. Yeah. Great. Okay, so what you should have done is trace the two angles and then connected them. This is a C, so this is SSI, same side interior. Then here, when you trace the two angles and connect them, that's a Z. It's a very weird looking Z, but it is a Z. So this is AIA. All right, so now we're going to make it a little bit more complicated. So identify the following pairs of angles as AIA, core, SSI, AEA, vertical angles, supplementary angles, or none. Again, what do supplementary angles look like? They make what? Supplementary angles always make what? 180, a straight angle, exactly. And what are vertical angles? Vertical angles are the what? The kissing birds, exactly. Okay, so the first angles they're telling us to identify are angles 1 and 11. And we ignore everything else that's not angle 1 and 11. So we're going to do the same thing we've been doing. Trace angle 1, trace angle 11, and try to connect them through a common line. If there is no common line to connect them, then your answer is none. These are no types of angle at all. But here, I traced angle 1, I traced angle 11. I was able to connect them with a common line. What letter did I just create? A Z, and the Z is AIA. All right, so now we ignore angle 1 and 11. Now we start fresh, erase it. Now we're working only with 1 and 10. So I trace angle 1, and I trace angle 10, and I connect them. This time I've made a C. What type of angle goes with the C? You got it, SSI. All right, now we ignore 1 and 10 and 1 and 11. Now we are looking only at 5 and 7. So I trace angle 5, I trace angle 7, and then I connect them through a common line. I again made another letter. What letter is it this time? An F. Which types of angles go with the F? Corresponding. You got it. Do we get the gist of how to do these more complicated problems? All right, let's keep going. 5 and 4. Core. Corresponding is F. All right, so 5 and 4. So I trace angle 5, I trace angle 4, and I connect them. Jonah, what kind of angle is this? You got it. It makes the Z, so it's an AIA. All right, now they're saying 5 and 6. So I trace angle 5, and I trace angle 6, and I connect them. J, what letter did I just make here? A C. Which type of angle goes with the C? You got it. SSI. All right, now we're talking 1 and 4. So I'm going to trace angle 1, and I'm going to trace angle 4. Guys, is there a common line that connects 1 and 4? So right off the bat, because there's no common line that connects 1 and 4, these are not any kind of angle. So we write none. There's no type of angle because there's no line connecting them. That's how you know. So when there's no line connecting them, you immediately know there's no kind of angle. All right. Angle 7 and angle 4. So I'm going to trace angle 7. I'm going to trace angle 4. Bella, what kind of angle is this? Perfect. SSI. All right, now they're saying 1 and 3. So I trace angle 1. I trace angle 3. Leilani, what kind of angle is this? 11B. Corresponding, you got it. All right, now we're looking at angle 6 and angle 4. Stella, what kinds of angles are these? AIA, you got it. Then we have angle 5 and angle 7. Jonah, what kinds of angles are these? You got it. Did you guys learn about these angles in the middle school? You should have, no?
Well, I didn't know like AI, but it was like ultimate.
Yeah. The real words, not like the shortcuts that I'm using. And they probably didn't use like the F or the C or any of that.
You better write down the vocab.
Okay.
Down one thing matters.
Okay. So guys, I traced angle 1 and angle 5 and I connected them. This doesn't make any kind of letter. But that doesn't mean this is a none kind of angle. This is a special kind of angle. Which one? 1 and 5. It is. It's a type of angle. 1 and 5. Alternate exterior. So even though it didn't make a letter, their only option without making a letter is the AEA, alternate exterior. They're exterior and they're on alternate sides. So this is AEA. All right, last one together. Angle 4 and angle 8. Angle 4. Here's angle 8. I heard it. What kind? Good. Don't forget our kissing birds. Oh, guys, I skipped a lot, didn't I?
I thought we were doing that one.
Oh, sorry. Let's go back. I didn't mean to skip them. I just didn't see them at the time. All right, so we have angle 2 and angle 3. What kinds of angles are 2 and 3? Vertical, it is. Good. And then we have 4 and 3. So I'm going to trace angle 4. I'm going to trace angle 3. Oh, again, very sneaky. It's not making a letter, but it is making an angle, a kind of angles. AEA, you got it. Yep. 4 is exterior. Oh, it depends. Okay, sorry, I'm lying. It all depends on which lines you're working with. So for the 5 and the 4, we use different lines. We said that this was line like A, this was line B, and the green was the transversal. So then if those are the two A and B, then they're interior. So they're alternate interior. Now, if you look at two different lines, if you look at this line and this line, then 4 is exterior. Does that make sense? Okay. Last one, 1 and 7. What are those? They are. They make the F. They're corresponding. Oh, wow. I skipped a lot, guys. I only did the first 3 of every one. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I thought you were doing that because like you can only see those top.
I think I didn't know that there were more. Okay. Let's go back. 4 and 6. Oh, good. What are 4 and 6? They are. Don't they make that straight angle together? 4 and 6. So those are sup angles. We can't ever forget about those. And then 6 and 3 are vertical. And 1 and 7. What do you guys think for 1 and 7?
Is it? Oh wait, no line interior.
No, there's no line connecting them. Yeah, none. Stella, you're right.
Wait, but like, didn't it?
It can't connect because even if you extend this one and extend this one, they're not connecting in the same line. They could overlap those lines, but they're not connecting them. You see that? All right, let's just have you do two of them. Let's go to number 16. And let's do letters A, letter D. You like E? Sure. Yeah, let's just do all of them. I like that.
Yes.
Good idea. Let's just do all of them. They're actually all good. All right, let's just go through this. Jay, what kinds of angles are 1 and 2? You got it. Sebastian, what kinds of angles are 1 and 3? It is good. Jack, what kinds of angles are 2 and 4? Jack M. You got it. Jonah, what kinds of angles are 5 and 8? You got it. Leilani, what kinds of angles are 3 and 8? 3 and 8?
Wait. Yeah.
I don't see a Z. Do you see a Z?
No, alternate exterior.
There you go. Luciana, what kinds of angles are 3 and 5? None. Good. There's no common line, so these are none. Very good. All right, we are done for